Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Wave Running Podcast. I don't do these that often, so it's always a treat to do it now because with the Chiefs is a little more consistent than I am right now. So we have Dom Bullock today. Amazing runner, good friend of mine. Yeah, has a really good running resume, including the recent race Bondi to Manly. But yeah, can you please give us a quick intro? Talk about how you got into running and how you got to where you are now.
Oh, thanks, Soto. It's pleasure to be on the Wave Running podcast. A couple of big names you've had on, so fantastic to be included in that list. Going to running back in 1994. I was born. Quickly. Primary school, I guess I was like maybe one of the faster kids in the year. And once you kind of recognize that, you start sort of identifying as being like the fast kid. And I think I did one season of Little Athletics, but nothing too much. Got into high school, and it's a bit of a different story because you go from like a year group of 30 people to a year group of like 250. So I think I went down to like one athletics event and was just like a bit overwhelmed, seeing like all the big kids around, and didn't really love it that much. So after that, I kind of put running to the side for the next 5 years or so and did a few other sports. Then towards the end of high school, I started getting back into it a bit more. I did cross country with a few friends, which was good fun. And then did like another track season that year as well. They actually put me in as like a sprinter in the 100 and 200, which was interesting. And then after that, went to uni and again, like just took a bit of a break. I think that everyone coming out of school sort of gets a bit caught up in partying and all of that. So there was a couple of years that were just sort of lost there, not doing much, trying to figure out what I want to do with myself. Then I had the goal of breaking 2 minutes for the 800 towards the back end of uni, and started getting a bit more serious with that. I got a coach. First, it was Jimbo Fitzgerald, actually. I was with him for like one season, maybe. It was kind of just unlucky at the time. When I first joined, there was maybe a group of like 5 or 6 guys, but after that season, pretty much everyone left, and I was just stuck with the girls, which it was still good, but just not quite like the best fit at that time. Still some awesome people to train with, like Jenny Blundell, Millie Clark, and yeah, all those girls are really good. But yeah, just it's I don't know, it's nice to be hanging out with some of your peers sometimes. So then after that, went to Ben Liddy at Central Performance and was training with him. Like he'd sort of just sort of started up that squad with some really good 800-meter runners. So it was like kind of the best place to be for me at the time. And was with Liddy for 2 years. Finally broke 2 minutes. It took me about like 3 or 4 years to do. I thought originally, oh yeah, should be able to knock this over in like a season or two, but it took a bit longer. Yeah, breaking 2 minutes was a pretty big achievement for me, considering like it took as long as it did. And yeah, having a coach like Ben Liddy was awesome too. Like, he was just so supportive, and the group environment there was really cool. It's like such a good community. Everyone going to training like 3 times a week, not missing a single session. Pretty sort of professional atmosphere as well. Everyone's like sort of national level 800-meter runners. Then after that, finished uni and got into the workforce and was working on a tunnel in construction. So the hours were pretty long, and just found that I couldn't really make the training sessions anymore and gave it up for a little bit. And I thought that was going to be the end of my running journey. Then Luke Smith sent me a DM one day and said, I'm kind of keen to get into running. Like, I know you're a bit of a runner. Could you, give me a few pointers how to get better at it? So then from then I kind of took Smitty under my wing for about a year, and a few other friends started joining in, and we had about 4 or 5 of us who were all training together and having heaps of fun. And then I got the idea of running a marathon in my mind. So I trained up and ran my first marathon in Canberra in 2019, and it went pretty well, ran 2:40. And I thought at the time, like, there's no way I'm going to run any quicker than that for the marathon. And that kind of started like the second sort of phase of my running journey. yeah, and I got into turbo runners, moved out to the east, changed jobs, which was a good idea. um, and yeah, kind of made running a bit more of a bigger part of my life, and started doing this longer stuff that was a bit more interesting and challenging in a different way. Yeah.
There's a bit I want to touch on regarding what you said, but well, before we move on any further, what other sports did you do back in the day? Because you said you touched on a few other sports as well.
Yeah. Oh, I did a bit of everything really. Had like soccer, rugby, water polo, surf lifesaving, a lot of surfing. Grew up surfing heaps with dad. Like every weekend, he'd take us to the beach.
Yeah, I think it's nice doing a ton
Yeah.
of different sports when you're young, like while you can. Because I feel like I
Absolutely.
can't do a lot of that now, and I did
Right.
some of that too back in the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy. It feels so uncoordinated now.
Yeah, I know. I can probably not really do well in a ball sport. Nah, yeah,
Not at all.
or racket sports or anything. Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't actually know that you trained with Jimbo and Ben Liddy, but I
Mm.
know you did switch coaches a few times and stuff like that. And I knew about your 800-meter sub two journey as well, which is pretty cool. Because I can't imagine running a sub two 800 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like a pretty tough goal.
It was
I
so
think
hard.
yeah. I
I
tried going
unless
all out a while ago and I did like 213, but yeah, super
yeah.
tough. Yeah.
No, you really have to like train specific for it. I think like the first season I ran 205, and then yeah, it took me 3 years just to knock 5 seconds off.
That's crazy. And I
Yeah.
assume you still need a fair amount of like aerobic fitness as well. Like you definitely need speed, but you need to be able to cling on to that speed. So it's
Mm.
a tough event and everyone talks about how the 800 is one of the toughest or if not the toughest. So yeah, pretty good achievement. And yeah, it just shows how good of a range you have now because you do
Yeah.
ultra marathons as well now, which is pretty sick. But yeah, I just wanted you to touch more on this specific season as well. I know you've done a few races, and I personally know that you've been happy with a couple, but also disappointed with a couple. But yeah, talk through your season so far this year.
Yeah. It's been yeah, a bit of ups and downs this season. I think since sort of getting into trail running, it's taken a while to kind of get the hang of it, which I think it's a bit of a recurring theme. Like in the 800, it took me like 3 years to kind of finally start running what I thought I could run. And then with trail running, it's been the same thing. I think Bondi to Manly was probably like the best trail ultra race that I've had yet, which was yeah pretty relieving to see it finally kind of start paying off. But started the season off at 6 foot. I came eighth, but like it was a bit of a down because everyone got lost and I went out way too quick and was really struggling in the back end, and just didn't pace the race very well at all. Um, but having everyone get lost, it was like, I don't know, kind of like a write off for everyone and a few like question marks over it. I think I probably would have been more like, oh, 12th to 15th if everyone stayed on course, probably. Then went over to Europe, which was really cool. And there was a 50K race in the Alps there, called Lavarito. And I came 49th in that one. Um, I think going over to Europe, it was a lot harder to just find a routine and keep training. I probably had like one or two okay weeks, but I got a bit carried away with drinking and eating and just enjoying being overseas. So for that one, like I was happy enough with it, but kind of left with like a bittersweet sort of feeling after it was done, knowing that I had a bit more in the tank, and if I'd kind of focused a bit more on that, I could have gone a lot better. So after that, the next race that I had in the calendar was Berlin, which was a few months away still, and decided to go like yeah all in for Berlin. Got Jerome from Delta to coach me, and was pretty religious with the program. I was pretty lucky. I had my girlfriend with me at Beck, who really supported me through that period and made sure I was getting out the door every day and hitting all of the sessions and every run. So going to Berlin, I felt like I was pretty fit. We did a little 4 mile race in the lead up, and I ran really well there. Like that's another fantastic race. I got second and was pretty quick with it. It was yeah, not a bad run at all. And then Berlin came around. I think I was just a little bit too ambitious again. Went out really, really fast, trying to break 2:30. But to be honest, I just think at the time I probably wasn't quite there and ended up paying the price for it, blowing up in the second half and running 2:38. So again, it was like another kind of like, oh, like I'm fit now at least. And I think that getting fit and putting in a good training block, I was really grateful for still. And Jerome did a great job in getting me to that kind of shape. But I knew like that wasn't the result that I wanted. And Bondi to Manly was kind of a bit of redemption and signing off the season with a positive note. So I signed up for that and yeah, kind of went hard in the training. Just shifted the training a little bit to be a bit more specific for it and had, yeah, a great run there. Second place and felt like strong enough through the whole race, really. So it was a pretty good season in the end. A lot of kind of learning experiences, but a couple of good races as well.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, we're not gonna end the Bondi to Manly recap there because this episode will be predominantly about Bondi to Manly. um, yeah, but thanks for recapping all that. Because you reminded me of a few of the other races, like that 4 mile race, because that was a really good one. Like,
Mm,
I think you averaged like 3:10 pace, right? And a 4 mile race is like 6.4K. So yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty quick. And weren't you like second by just a tiny bit?
Yeah. I beat the guy coming third by like not much at all,
Oh, by a
like a
tiny bit.
dip on the
Yeah,
line. Yeah.
yeah,
But the guy
yeah.
who came first was maybe 10 or 15 seconds ahead.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a cool event. I'd love to do something like that one day,
It
where
was
it's
really
like
cool.
neck on neck at the finish as well. Like that makes
Yeah.
it a lot more exciting. But I'm sure there's a lot of good European runners, so it's nice being in like a much more stacked field, I guess.
Mm,
Even with the Lavarito 50K as well. Like I'm sure there's a lot of good ultra trail runners out in Europe because we are kind of in a slightly smaller bubble in Australia, I guess you could say, just because we're pretty far away from a lot of other countries and all that. So we're kind of stuck in our own little community, but we do have some great runners as well. So yeah, it's pretty sick. We have a unique kind of setup here in Australia, which is awesome because even at Bondi and Manly, like a few of us knew each other going into it. Like, and yeah, it was nice having a chat as well, which we'll get into more later. But yeah, let's talk a bit more about our training leading up to Bondi and Manly. I know you touched on it a little bit, but I want to go into more kind of specifics. For me as well, I kind of randomly decided to do Bondi and Manly pretty last minute because I don't think I was as happy with Backyard Ultra. Like I think
yeah.
I did want to go 24 hours, but I was just shy of that because I only ran like 20 and a half. So I knew that I wanted a bit of redemption as well. So I started training hard for it as well. But yeah, talk a bit more about the specifics of what sort of training you were doing. And obviously you came back to Sydney, so you got to train a bit on the course as well.
Yeah. And I knew from the previous like ultras that I'd done and the hilly kind of trail runs, I needed a lot more work on trails and hills. So we went to Austria for a week, like the final week that we were in Europe. And the idea was to go skiing, but we got there and the ski field was like super icy. And Beck and I are not great skiers. So we gave that a miss and just stuck to hiking and running, which was probably a good thing for training for Bondi to Manly. But that was really cool. Like every day was just doing these awesome runs and just really focusing on getting elevation in. I think that for this ultra stuff, like, yeah, that really matters. Like 6 foot, I got, yeah, found out on the hills. Lavarito again, like I was going okay for the first maybe 10 or 20 Ks. And then a couple of really tough hills and technical bits are thrown in. And that's where, like, yeah, I lost a lot of time and positions. And pretty much, yeah, all the trail races I've done, the hills have just killed me in the past. So I think that's the difference between a good trail runner and an average one is how good they can run uphill and downhill. So that was definitely the focus and what I need to shift in my training. But Austria was fantastic. And it makes it so much easier when you're running in beautiful scenery to get the elevation in. Then came back to Sydney and kept it up. I think it's obviously a bit hard to find as much elevation around, but was still just getting out on the trails. And I think getting used to kind of running in that sort of environment, I think your body kind of learns how to position itself a bit more and how to move across the trails. So I was trying to just run on the trails as much as possible and threw in a couple of bigger, longer workouts and stuff like that. And yeah, it was good to go for Bondi to Manly.
Yeah, for sure. I think just to touch on the most recent thing you said about like longer workouts, I think that's smart because like I was doing 10 by 1K a lot quicker than what I would need for Bondi to Manly. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I should have done something like you where you went, I think you did like 20 by 1K at like, 50K pace, which for us too is around, would you say it's around 340 for us?
Yeah,
What did you,
340.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it was like 50K pace, but I think just nothing crazy really. It was like, yeah,
yeah,
345, 350.
yeah.
I wasn't too concerned, even if I was like 4 minute pace or whatever on a rep, I would have been fine with that. It was more just getting out there, getting through it,
Yeah.
and getting used to feeling how it feels to run at that kind of rhythm and be out for that long. Like I think your just body needs to get used to the endurance of it, because 80Ks is a long way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was important that we did like some of the course as well. Like we only got to do
Mm,
one run together on course, but that was a lot of the first leg, or if not all of it.
yeah,
Yeah, so that was also good because we kind of wanted to know what was coming up because that part, like obviously we both have lived in the eastern suburbs for a while. We're relatively familiar with the area, but like we don't know the exact turns and all that because there were a lot of random turns that you wouldn't expect and some
yeah,
random hills as well. So it was good that we did that because we knew exactly what was coming up and how fast slash slow the course was. Probably more slow than fast because of all the hills
yeah.
and interruptions as well. But yeah, and then obviously we both did a couple of our own course records as well, like the
Mm,
north side of the bridge, because that's definitely the part that us two are less familiar with. Especially
mm,
for me, it's like, yeah, after Mossman Trails, after Clifton Gardens, I wasn't really sure what the route would be like because I've never done that part really. So it was good that I did the rest of that course in 2 runs to at least go through it one time before the race because I know roughly what's coming up. But yeah, apart from that, for me, I don't know, I didn't do anything too specific, but I just tried to get good on the hills because I noticed that when I was running the first 20Ks with Dom, um, as the course recce, I noticed that it was tough on me, even though we weren't going that quick. Actually, we were both quite scared of how tough it was, but
yeah,
that was when I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try and fit in as much elevation as I can. Even though we're only in Sydney, we don't have like the Kidumbas where you can just carry on going up for ages. I would have loved to have done that once, just to practice a little bit at least. But yeah, with what I had around me, I tried my best to do elevation. Went to Matt Gore's Thursday Delta Hills, which you bailed on because to be fair,
yeah.
you did like a double the day before.
Mm,
And yeah, I think you ended up doing a lot on that day anyway. Even though you didn't come to hills, I think you ran twice the next day as well. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, but those hill sessions with Matt were pretty good. They gave me a little more confidence, running quite quick up the hill, even with a bit of lactic in your legs. So, yeah, that's about all I did in terms of specifics. I think I wish I did a few more super long runs, and by super long, I'm talking about for me like 35 to 50K long runs,
mm,
which I haven't done much of in my life. So I think I should have done a few of those, but we were working with very little time. I feel like
mm,
I was toying with the fact about signing up for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, but I only actually signed up with 3 weeks to go or something. So yeah,
right.
there wasn't actually too much time.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of hard fitting in those big long runs as well because you kind of need like a day or two recovery.
yeah. And I felt like it would have been nice to just carry on the time on feet and getting out there
Mm,
frequently and getting in the hills. So yeah, I had to work out a balance, fit in a few like 20K runs, but nothing too crazy. Um, but yeah, let's move on to race day, the exciting bit.
yeah, race
Um,
day.
Yeah, I don't know, Dom. How about you talk a bit about how we went out, actually, and also maybe give a shout out to the big names that were in there, because I'm sure you know the trail runners and ultra runners in there a bit better than I do.
Yeah. So Joey McGrath, I think like I don't know, no one's talking about him enough. Like he
Underrated.
won the race, and he's just like such a great bloke and ran so well. But I've had like a bit of a back and forth with him at a few races. I think UTA in 2022 when I did that, I got fifth, he got sixth. Then at 6 foot, I think he was like fourth or fifth, or maybe he was even third. I can't remember, but he was right up there. Beat me. And then he did like a 6 hour event and was like just short of what I did. Um, so we've kind of been going, yeah, back and forth, and kind of like are both at about the same level. But yeah, he's super strong runner from the Central Coast. Then Vlad Chatrov, also like a awesome runner as well. He's beaten me in pretty much every race that I've had against him. I think the first time I raced him was like in a half marathon at Foster,
Yeah,
and
wow.
he like back in 2018, and he absolutely smashed me by like 5 minutes. Um, then who else was there?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, we've had a few others like Brett Fargo and who's done
Brett
like a lot
Frager,
of 50K runs. Yeah, pretty
Martin
experienced.
Jansen, yeah,
Last year's winner, Martin Jackson.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
Tom
And
Petroni,
then
he's always pretty dangerous.
yeah. But yeah, you could tell at the start line that a lot of people have a lot of experience because you see all the gear and you
Mm.
know, yeah, they just looked like they knew what they were doing. And then there was me with like a naked belt and no vest, which
Yeah,
we'll touch on later as well. Um, but yeah, so I could tell at the start line that this was going to be a pretty tough race. And, Vlad Shatrov was looking serious. He looked like he was ready to send it like he does in a lot of
mm.
races, like go out really
Yeah,
hard. But
mm.
yeah, I knew that because of the people in that field. You could just tell that the race was going to go way quicker than last year. Because I think Martin went through the marathon at 3:18 last year.
Oh, really?
Um, and yeah, I remember talking to you a few days before that, we should probably stick to that kind of pace, go through the
Yeah,
marathon at maybe, 3:18, maybe even 3:20 if we have to, and then try
yeah.
and pick it up from there. But then
I think
obviously
like
that's the complete opposite of what happened. But
yeah,
um
I think jokingly you said like, imagine if we went through sub three, and
yeah, no.
we
And
pretty
we
much
actually
did.
almost did that. Well, I don't know if you did, because
Oh, I think
yeah,
I was
did
like
you or no?
302 or something.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But yeah, to explain a bit of context on how it started, I guess, the gun went off. I think Vlad went straight to the front, and then yeah, Dom and I, we didn't plan anything at all on race day. Like we were just yeah, we didn't really talk much to be honest. But
Mm.
yeah, we naturally just went either side of Vlad because you probably got excited. I don't know. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, Vlad was definitely going out quick, and yeah, we just followed him for a bit. But I reckon we were smart enough to know that he was going out at kamikaze pace.
yeah.
It was really really quick, so I wanted to just respect that and know that I can't keep up. And I
Mm.
think Dom and I both like pulled back a little bit, and that's when Joey caught up with us, right? But do you want to
Yeah,
explain how it went like afterwards?
yeah. I think that was like the first couple of Ks. It was
Yeah,
like just everyone sort of sorting themselves out, and then you, me, and Joey all sort of found each other and got sort of a bit more chirpy and chatting along. Joey was good value, like really kind of lifted the vibe of the group a bit,
he
and
really did.
it felt like we were all a team out there almost, which was really cool, even though we were in a competition. I think that was still in the back of everyone's head, like, hang on, like this is a race a little bit. But for the most part, we were all looking out for each other, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I forgot
yeah,
to say, I found out. So I obviously met Joey during that run, like 2Ks in for the first time. But we actually both did Booty Coastal run last year. I won the 14K, he won the 21K. But we found out about that as well, and then we chatted a bit about that. So yeah, it was like quite nice just getting to know someone and taking my mind off the pace. Because once I recuperated and looked at my watch, I was like, holy crap, we've been averaging like four. Actually, no, it was like 4:14 or whatever
yeah,
average at the start for the
yeah.
first. little bit
twenty
because we
k's.
went through the
Okay.
5K at 21:15 and we went through the 10K at like 42, almost flat, I think.
Wow.
42 flat, if you didn't know. So I stopped looking at the splits after that, as in I don't know the 20K split or the half marathon split or anything like that, but I just know we went out super quick. But like you said, it was nice just chatting, but we also knew that it was a race as well. So, there were times where we didn't chat as much as well, but
Mm,
Joey, actually, all three of us occasionally gave each other motivation. We're like,
mm,
boys, we're doing super well. Let's keep this up and all that sort of stuff. So it was definitely nice having the company. And I feel like the first 40Ks went by so quick because of the company, even though it
absolutely.
was a tougher part of the course. Well,
Mm,
the first 20 was pretty tough and then it got a bit easier. But
mm.
yeah, I don't know. Is there much else to touch on in the first minute? Anything
Yeah, I think
significant?
we went out really fast over those hills. Like I think that both you and me thought we were going to go way slower.
Yeah.
So then the race plan had to kind of change a little bit. I think that both of us were thinking, okay, in that flat section, we can really kind of pick it up because I think both you and me are much better runners on the flats than over hills or trails. But because we went out so fast, we had to kind of just shift the plan a little bit and just kind of back it off a little bit. It was still pretty quick, but not like as fast as I was imagining, probably.
Yeah. I think if anything, the second 20Ks, which is known to be the fastest part of the course, ended up being more of a cruise section where we can kind of regather ourselves after the faster start. Um,
Mm,
but we were all still feeling like super good. I don't think anyone was looking uncomfortable at that
no.
point. Like we were all chatting a lot still. It was funny because Joey and I were talking about like this part in Manly where we have to go through a small hall. As we were like running past the marshal, and she was like, "You guys are talking a fair amount. You guys need to focus on the race." Because like we were actually speaking pretty loud as well. Like I don't know, it was so fun, but yeah, that second 20Ks we have to like realize that we have a tougher part of the course coming up. So like go a tiny bit slower, maybe get in a bit of fluids and all that. And yeah, I remember because I was trying to eat one of the cliff blocks that I had. I actually dropped my whole bag of cliff blocks and Joey was so nice.
Oh,
He was
geez.
behind me and picked it up for me. Um yeah, there were a few hiccups as well. I mean I don't know if
Yeah.
you want to
I
talk
had a
about it,
couple
but
of
you had a couple of
falls.
slips or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Which
slippery. Yeah.
yeah, that was a bit of a wake up call for me. It was like,
Yeah.
just settle it down a bit, like don't be an idiot and and have something stupid happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I slipped I think twice. Well, I slipped once in that first half, and then I slipped again in the second half.
Mm.
But luckily they were both nothing too bad, and I kind of regathered and
Yeah.
kept on going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to give context as well, it was drizzling the morning of, which wasn't meant to happen, but that obviously made the terrain a bit more wet, and it rained like 2 days in a row before that as well. So I knew that, a bit of time lost on stairs and like slippery bits aren't going to affect it too much. So I was on the conservative side when it got a little bit, iffy.
Mm.
But I know Dom just loves sending everything because you're really good at going down as well. I feel like because
Mm,
yeah, there was a part after Hornby Lighthouse where there was a lot of like quick turns and slight
mm,
undulations and stuff, and that part I'll let you guys go maybe like 5 seconds ahead of me for a bit. And you guys were still together going pretty quick, but I just
mm.
thought I'll catch up when it's flat. So I did let you guys go a bit, but you're still
Mm.
pretty close, like nothing more than 5 seconds away. And I caught up pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to play the conservative game just because a fall would be way worse than like losing a couple seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, it went pretty smooth. Like, I was pretty happy with the first 40K. Do you remember when the aid station was, the halfway checkpoint?
Yeah.
Was that 40
Yeah.
Ks in?
I think it was 40Ks. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be like um a bit sooner than it was though. I
Mm.
thought it was like right on the other side of the Harbour Bridge, but it was actually a few Ks further down.
Yeah. Oh, we
Um,
should talk about Ed Goddard.
yeah, Ed
Yeah,
Goddard.
talk about that, no.
Yeah, we ran to Ed Goddard just like randomly on the Harbour Bridge, which was pretty nice to see like a familiar face. And he was yeah, up for a bit of a run and a bit of a chat, which was good fun. I feel like that kind of lifted the mood again.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he got some content for us as well. He's filming us.
yeah,
But
great content.
yeah, I believe what he did was yeah, he was warming up and yeah, I think he knew that we were coming, but he had his racing shoes in his hand and phone on his other hand. And yeah, he just ran with us for I think he ended up running with me a bit after because I got dropped by you two after the aid station. But a total of about maybe 5Ks ish. But it was nice having him as company because, like you said, familiar face, really good guy. He ended up giving me a few tips as well, which is very nice of him. But yeah, after he split ways with me, he went to do like a 3 by 5K workout. Probably something super quick as well. But yeah,
Mm.
it was nice seeing him. At the second aid station, let's talk a bit about that because I think you had a pretty good tactic of what to do there and like what to leave at the aid station. Talk
Yeah,
about that.
so I think that yeah, I kind of thought about what my nutrition was going to be like, and part of the plan was taking on Tailwind. So I figured that if I could drink like 500 mils of a pretty strong mix every hour, I'd be doing pretty well as a gel every hour. So 6 gels and like 3 liters of Tailwind. But to do that, I needed to put a couple of bottles out on the course. So I put 2 bottles in the checkpoint at checkpoint 2, which was 40 Ks. And then ended up swapping out bottles with Smitty on the way as well, which was really good. But putting the bottles at the checkpoint was awesome because you could just run in, take your old bottles and chuck them out, and then put some fresh ones in and keep going, which saved a lot of time rather than trying to fill them up.
Yeah, for sure. I think because yeah, when you're going for contention in Bondi and Manly, like I don't think you have too much time to stop and do a ton of stuff. So
Mm.
Joey even like didn't stop at the halfway mark, right? I'm pretty sure he just
Yeah,
ran through,
that
which
was like a bit of kind of like a mental, like, oh shit, like we're
yeah,
actually racing. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, damn, okay, well, teamwork ends here because I obviously took a bit longer. Um, I think we all kept it under like a minute, but I think Joey carried on. You took about, I don't know, would you say 40 seconds, 30,
Yeah. Well,
something
I
like
think
that?
like I saw Joey kind of like run past us and I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, we got to go.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
kind of like rushed, like putting my bottles
yeah,
in and tried to get going as soon as possible. But yeah,
yeah.
maybe it took 40 seconds or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just knew how hard the next part was going to be. So I was like, you know what? Based off of how I'm feeling right now, like obviously it wasn't the toughest thing in the world at that point, but it also wasn't reassuring that I knew I had another 39Ks to go or whatever from there. So I was like,
Mm.
you know what? Couple minutes won't do too much. Maybe I'll take a full minute and try and regather before I continue the second half. So I think I took my time and luckily Ed waited for me. And I will be honest, he gave me a little bit of assistance on one of the hills. He pushed me up
Oh, really?
to try and get me back to you guys, which is
Yeah.
nice of
Yeah.
him. Um I don't know if that counts as cheating. Hopefully not. Hopefully I don't get disqualified, but yeah, that was good fun. But yeah, I guess from then on, obviously we didn't really see each other. So
Mm.
I'm pretty curious to know how the rest of your race went. Like, how did it go?
Yeah. So Joe was like, yeah, maybe 50 meters or 100 meters ahead of me for a couple of Ks. And then we hit like the waterfront where you go along and then you go up that set of stairs.
Mm,
Um, and at that point, he like slowed down pretty much. He pretty much stopped and just waited for me to catch up to him.
yeah.
And then we were both like cramping really badly. And yeah,
Wait,
I think
at that stair?
no. I think we got up the stairs okay, but maybe about like 50 Ks was when it really
Yeah.
sort of hit us.
And that was in Mossman Trails, right?
Yeah, going over the Mossman Trails was shocker.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I think for most of it, it was just me and him running together. He kind of went off again a little bit actually, over the Mossman Trails, and then I could still see him about It was never more than like 100 odd meters away from me though.
Yeah.
And then he slowed down again. I think once we got to Balmoral, and like let me catch him, and we run together a bit more, and got to the split bridge at the same time. But unfortunately, the bridge was going up, so we had to wait for like 3 or 4 minutes, which was kind of annoying because felt like yeah, it was hard to get going again after that, and that was when he really like broke me and actually got away.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mossman Trails a bit because obviously, like I said, it rained a few days before that, and I knew it was gonna be a wet one. But
Mm,
for me personally, like I knew with having so much of the course left to go, I didn't really want wet socks and all that because that could cause blisters and it makes your shoes heavier and your socks obviously very soggy and heavy as well. So
yeah.
I'm wondering if you kind of just went through the puddles or did you kind of try and stay as dry as possible? Because I stayed pretty dry the whole Mossman Trails.
Yeah, I tried to do the same, like stay as dry as possible. But in hindsight, I think I probably should have just plowed through the puddles.
I know,
Um,
yeah,
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 I think that I guess it was kind of good, like looking for solid ground to put your foot as well, because it's a bit risky stepping into a puddle and not knowing what's underneath it. But yeah, I tried to kind of skirt around them as much as possible, but it was a bit awkward, and you had to think a lot about where you're putting your foot and things like that.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think I started cramping at around like 47, 48K as well. So I think we all went
Yeah,
through similar boats, but
yeah,
um yeah, that was a rough part of the course. Like I'm quite familiar with it in the sense that I have done it a lot on dry days with a few friends. So
mm,
yeah, I just wish it was a bit more dry because then it would have been like really familiar because I already know what sort of footing to do and stuff because I've done it plenty of times. And
mm,
that was the last part of the course that I knew very well. So I wanted to have a solid one, but yeah, ended up being a pretty tricky part. And I think even the relay runners were talking about how it was like quite a tough part.
yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
you could have had a lot more rhythm through there if it was a bit drier, but because it was wet, it was just like, I don't know, stop start, like, or how do I get around this bit? How do I get around that bit? Whereas usually it's just like you can just keep rolling through it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'd say before the Mossman Trails is more like hard stairs and like hills and stuff. But then
Mm.
when you once you reach Mossman Trails, it's like yes, it's trails, but it's also slightly flatter. I felt like so
Yeah.
on a dry day, it would have been nice, like you said. Yeah.
Mm.
Um. But yeah, I found like the part after Mossman Trails pretty tough as well. Clifton Gardens, go on the beach a little bit. There's stairs that go up, and then there's
Oh,
more
geez.
stairs after that.
Yeah.
Um, and then what was it like Middlehead and stuff? Yeah. The out and backs
Mm.
are pretty tough as well. You can see the people on the other side of the road who are ahead of you and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was getting tough, yeah. And yeah, split bridge, like you said, if you had to stop, you'll get your momentum impeded, which kind of sucks because both of our goals in advance were to make it before the was it the 10 a.m. or 10:30? I
10
forgot.
a.m.
10
Yeah, we
a.m.
want to get
split
there
bridge
before 10
opening, yeah.
a.m. Yeah.
But that would have meant that we have to average like quite a fast pace
Yeah.
to
I
get
think,
there.
yeah, it was like 4:40s or something like that.
Well, how many Ks in did it end up being? Because I feel like it ended up being, was it 57 Ks in or?
Yeah, I think it was about that, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, we just missed it.
yeah,
Like once we were in Balmoral, we kind of knew, okay, we've already stuffed it up, which was
yeah,
a bit annoying, but it didn't matter too much. Like, luckily, it didn't change the race at all. Like Joey still won, um, and yeah, we didn't have to factor in like how much time was lost due to the bridge.
yeah, yeah. I think by that point, you guys are pretty far ahead. Like, yeah, I'm kind of curious because obviously us three are the one that went out super quick. Do you know how much slower
No.
you two got in the second half?
Oh yeah. Not
Because you
too
held on
sure.
pretty well given
Yeah.
the fast start. Yeah.
Oh, well, we were definitely a lot slower than what we were doing at the start. But I think, uh, what do you know what we went through 40K in? We went through the marathon in like 3:02, and then I finished in like 6:20.
Yeah.
So
So 40K must have been like what in the 250s, maybe low
yeah,
250s.
yeah. So still
Hard to guess. Yeah.
quite a bit slower in the back 40, but
True.
it is
Yeah.
pretty hilly.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's funny because at that point we were on track to demolish the course record and race record.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Joey ended up breaking the race record because it's the
Mm,
second year running and he ran faster than Martin last year.
true.
Um, but yeah, it's crazy how fast it went. I think we all knew that we were going like
Too quick.
kamikaze
Yeah.
pace that we can't keep up because we knew that all we have to do is double it to work out what we were on track for. But
Yeah.
um, you know, I don't know. I feel like I can't speak too much on behalf of Joey because I only met him that day, but I know you and I are pretty known for going out quick. Like at
Mm.
least for me as well, I'm a meme at this point because my friend Pat Bleasel tagged me on a story and he was like, I don't even need to know. I don't even need to look at the tracker to know that he went out at 3:30, referring to me. So, and he wasn't too far off. Like I went out pretty quick. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but it's cool. I just love how there were a lot of people that are known for going out quick because it made the race more entertaining for sure. Like
Mm.
just imagine tracking it and seeing, 4:18 average pace so far, and you're like halfway through. Like people are
Yeah.
gonna wonder what's gonna happen from then on. So
Yeah.
definitely kept the race entertaining. Um, and yeah, Vlad ended up overtaking me at Mossman Trails as well and stuff. So yeah, it was a really interesting one. Yeah. And I guess, yeah, talk a bit about the part from after Spit Bridge. How did you find it and how did you finish the race?
Yeah. It was pretty much just like a grind after Spitbridge. It gets a lot more like traily and stairs and things like that. And having like Joey had taken off. He was out of sight now. I was kind of like a bit scared about being passed by someone else like the whole time because I felt like I was just trying to. The goal was to just run the whole race pretty much and stay strong, but I was cramping pretty badly. I like hiked quickly up a few sets of stairs, but for pretty much all of it, I just kept running. And
Where do
then
where were you cramping? I in like where on the leg?
hamstrings.
Yeah.
I think hamstrings, were shocking, and then calves a little bit as well, but that was only if like I really tried to pick it up. Um, but it's kind of annoying cramping because I felt like lungs and everything else was fine. It's just you physically can't stride, which is a pretty important part about running. Um, but yeah, I got to. There was also a lot of relay runners who were catching up to us, which was kind of good. I'd like jump in with them for like as long
Yeah.
as possible.
I did the same as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really good to have like someone to just focus on and stick with, especially because they were really fresh and like, um, yeah, it was nice to have like a little goal to just hang on to this person for as long as possible. There was one guy who was just out for a daily run and going down the stairs, I'd always pass him. And then going up the stairs, he was like waiting for me and passing me. So I think we went back and forward like maybe 3 or 4 times actually, which was pretty funny. But yeah, then I got to 70 Ks and I was in like a pretty feral kind of mood, was just like a bit over it, ready for the race to be done. And kind of, still really scared about being passed by someone. So I was just asking like everyone, like, how far back is the person behind me? And no one knew. They could only tell me that Joey was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes ahead. And I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like, I just don't want to get passed by someone else. um, but got up to the top of North Head and Jerome was there and he ran with me for a little while, which was really cool because he coached me for all of Berlin. And even though I wasn't in the best mood, it was still great to have someone familiar to run with. And yeah, just make sure that I could see it through and kept the pace up, which was really good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then came down past Ferry Bower, which I've done that trail a lot. Just when we grew up surfing, we'd always surf Ferry Bower and Winky and Deadman's. It's like my favorite spot on the northern beaches. So you usually park your car there and walk along that trail to go have a look at the surf before you go out. And growing up, I'd done that many, many times. So it was pretty special kind of running through there and then coming down onto Shelley Beach. And yeah, going around Manly was a lot busier than I expected. I thought that I'd be able to really pick it up there and kind of have a good sort of fast run to the finish, but there was just people everywhere. And the whole way I was just like yelling, like coming through, watch out. But yeah, it was still pretty special, and you feel so like elated to finish. Like I was just like, oh, thank God that's over, and I've put in a good effort. But yeah, how'd you find the back half?
Yeah. Yeah, Spit Bridge, like I didn't get caught by the bridge, but I can yeah, just crossing that bridge felt tough. Like even though it's completely flat, I was like, damn, there's still so much of the race to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ready for it, and I know how hard it was about to become as well.
Mm.
But yeah, like I said, a bit more technical in the second part. And yeah, like I was running alone for a lot of that. But like you said, a lot of the relay runners started passing us. Funny thing is, the first 20K, I'm pretty sure only two relay runners passed us. But
Mm.
then we actually ended up passing one of the relay runners after that. So at the end of the day, we only got beaten by one relay runner, which is how fast we were going, like which is pretty stupid. But
Yeah.
but in the second half, obviously a lot of relay runners were passing, and it felt like a free boost basically because
Mm.
you kind of follow them for a bit, like you were saying. Um, but then obviously the crowds caught up, and then I slowed down again, and then I tried to pick it up every time. Um, but yeah, I reckon I want them to keep it that way because it's always nice having company, no matter what race they're in or whether they're solo or relay.
Yeah.
Um,
That was good.
And yeah, I guess I don't have too much to say because for me, it just became a suffer fest from like 47K all the way up to about 71K when we got to the Manly Wharf,
Mm.
where my friend Jess kindly bought me some cramp fix
Oh,
to
nice.
save me. And that really came in clutch because I was joking to my friend who was in the fourth leg of the relay a few days beforehand, and I was telling him about how the fourth leg is piss easy, but he was talking about how the fourth leg is the hilliest. Um, so and because I remembered that I said it was piss easy, I knew that I had to walk my talk and actually do a respectable time for the last bit. So North Head, I actually ended up picking it up. Like I took the crowd fix, felt better. I knew that there wasn't much to go, so a relay runner passed me, but then I was like, you know what? I want to actually end it on a good note and be at least proud of how I finished it. So I went up the hill at 4:35 pace-ish, which is
Oh,
pretty
geez.
good 70 Ks into the race, I'd say. And then once it got to the flatter bit at the top of North End, because there was a bit of fire trail on road, which made it a bit
Mm.
quicker. I even managed to do a few like 4:19s or 4:18s. Um, and yeah, I actually picked up like six positions in the last like 8K, which is
Yeah. Wow.
epic because
That's
I
awesome.
got past a lot in Mossman Trails and I was like, damn, my race is over. But yeah, I was at like 16th and then went all the way up to like ninth or eighth or something. Um, but yeah, luckily for me, when we got down to Shelly Beach and when it's just like 1 point something Ks to go, all on the pavement. I remember you said you had to keep telling everyone that you're coming through. But I think by my point, there were enough relay runners and stuff that everyone was aware that people were coming through. So everyone was
Yeah.
looking
Right.
back and making sure they're not in the way. And the marshals were doing a good job as well. So I managed to end pretty quickly. And yeah, I think I looked pretty strong at the finish, which is another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to finish strong and yeah, just be happy with how I finished, I guess. So yeah, pretty good day out. And as like a less experienced ultra runner, like I feel like I did everything I could um with the dealt cards, like I've only done my first ultra back in May and it's currently October. So it's been a tough 5 months of like doing a lot of longer stuff. I did my first marathon, even though that was only pacing someone, but like it's a lot longer than what I usually do. So I think I'm pretty happy with how I've done in 2023 because yeah, I'm still pretty new to this stuff. So I think there's a long way to go for me, but it's nice having the company of like, Dom and now Joey too. Because it gives me a bit of inspiration. I obviously want to do one night of Manly one day, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot about conditioning and all that, I think. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I think like you've got a lot of potential. Like it was a pretty like brave run, and you did well to kind of tough it out and finish strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do like a little bit more sort of specific stuff, I think you could smash it for sure.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's just conditioning, like more gymming, getting used to lifting heavy, getting used to going up tough hills and stairs, even when you're already tired. So
Mm.
stuff like the longer runs with more elevation kind of thing. Um, but yeah, it's just stuff that you have to accumulate over time. There's no shortcuts to it, so you just get it done over multiple years and then you get good at it. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, it's just experience and putting your body through it. But yeah, before we move on, I want to know what like the specific nutrition strategy. I know you said you had like 6 gels, but did you have a plan going into it? And did you stick to it, or did it end up being whatever you could take in? Because for me, I had a plan, but I had way less than intended, and I also just tried to get in what I could. But I also got palate fatigue, and I was tired of having gels because it was so sweet and disgusting at the end. But what was your
Yeah.
nutrition like?
Yeah. So I was aiming for that kind of 90 grams of carbs per hour. I think it was actually more like 7 or 8 gels.
Right.
Um, sorry, I think I said six before, but and then like a really like strong tailwind. But same, I got pretty like sick of the sweetness, although I just stuck to the plan and uh, ate everything that I set out to eat. I think I had the idea of drinking 500 mils and taking a gel every hour, and I was pretty like strict on myself to stick to that. So that's pretty much how it went. But I think in the past, like that's been my nutrition strategy as well, and it's worked well for me. So I knew, okay, like if I do this, I can run well. May as well do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, the only thing I'd change for next time is just know that, um, yeah, for me personally, it's hard to stick to what I set out to because palate fatigue gets to me pretty easily. So maybe just diversify what I bring on the run. Um,
Mm,
yeah, and maybe even carry a vest next time. Like I started looking at vests yesterday because I had work yesterday, which I told you about before this podcast, which is pretty tough because after an ultra, you kind of want to just lie in and do nothing for a day. But at work, I was just looking at all the vests and, seeing what I could have worn or could wear next time. But
mm,
yeah, just having more to carry and more options would have been nice, I feel like. But yeah, and also just forcing it down, I guess, because
yeah.
you know that you're never gonna feel like having a gel when you're
No.
sick and tired of it, but you kind of need to get the energy and the carbs in. So
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe let's touch on a bit of the organization and the volunteers, because in my opinion, I think they did an amazing job. Like
Mm,
I think the course is marked well enough that we had no issues. I feel like maybe like
yeah.
one little
We
issue,
took we
but
took
yeah,
one small little wrong turn where we ran down a street that was a dead end and turned back.
probably
But
lost 15 seconds, 20
yeah,
seconds max. Yeah,
yeah. I thought that like every corner was like signposted pretty much. Even that one when we took the wrong turn, it was just because we like misinterpreted what the sign said.
yeah.
Um, but everything was pretty good, and all the volunteers were super helpful as well. Like pushing the button at the crossings was awesome. Like we didn't
Oh
have
yeah.
to wait at all to cross the roads. Um,
We did get lucky as well though with the traffic light because it
yeah,
went green at a really good time as well. But yeah,
yeah,
and it was
I
because they
think
pressed it though. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like
yeah,
they timed it well,
yeah,
so
yeah,
they saw us coming and pressed it, and then it was
yeah,
green by the time we were
yeah.
there.
Legend.
Yeah, and yeah, all the volunteers were like super friendly and helpful, like making sure we went the right way.
Yeah.
Um, no, I thought it's a tricky course to navigate, and the fact that we didn't really get lost was awesome.
Yeah, like we pretty much followed it to a T. And again, it helped that we did a lot of the course beforehand, but yeah, it
Mm,
also helps when there's a marshal every so often, just to reassure that you're going the right way and all that. So yeah, I have like pretty much no complaints in terms of the organization. Like, if
no,
I had any feedback, I'd say the only thing would probably be, yeah, like the awards presentation. I reckon
mm,
we can get like a nicer stage and
yeah,
celebrate the winners a bit more. But apart from that, like very well organized event. Yeah, and no complaints, I reckon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I thought it was really well done. Especially like compared to like 6 foot where everyone got lost. It was much better. 6 foot was similar, like there was still a lot of volunteers and stuff out on the course, but at like one crucial turn, there was no one there, and then everyone stuffed it up.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. How about we move on to a few tips for people racing next year? I think obviously one of them was like your bottle situation. Like,
Mm,
it takes longer to fill up a bottle, so you'd rather have it filled and ready at the checkpoint so that you can just take the two bottles out, put the two bottles back in, carry on going. That's what
yeah,
helped us get out of the aid station in less than a minute. Because obviously, yeah, if you're trying to go for a specific time or a place, then you probably don't want to spend too long standing around. And obviously
mm,
that impedes your momentum a bit. So yeah, like Joey probably felt good just running through it because he's pretty
yeah,
prepared. But I can also just having people, your friends and family out on course helping you out. Because did you
definitely.
say that Luke helped you out with a few bottles as well on the second half?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like so, Luke was there at all of the back half aid stations, ready to give me a bottle if I needed it.
yeah, nice. And I guess we touched on this earlier as well, but just to reiterate, know that it's such a long way to go. So like, don't stress about going slow on like one staircase or whatever, because
Mm,
one staircase isn't gonna change the time at the end that significantly. And if anything, you're probably being smart. Like a lot of people say, if you walk in an ultra, it doesn't necessarily mean you're dumb. You're probably being smart as well,
mm,
to an extent. So yeah, just because it's a running race, like it doesn't mean you have to run the entire thing. Um, there's nothing wrong with trying to save a bit of energy at some parts of the course.
mm.
Um,
I think
I guess the main point is not to go out too quick.
yeah, don't go out too quick. And nutrition, like think that through. Yeah, practice what you're going to do on race day. I think that was good for me. That 20 by 1K session, I was taking a sip
Tailwind.
of like sweet tailwind after every rep, and just getting used to feeling like a bit yuck in the tummy. um, and I wish that I had some cramp fix or something as well. If I was a bit more prepared with that and thinking ahead about that, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Um,
It's really easy to think that you're built different, but
yeah,
any like a lot of people will cramp on that course, especially. So it's nice to have cramp fix. Like I had one, but that wasn't enough. Like I reckon I would have done better if I took a few more. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I guess that's about it. Again, it's really ironic for us to say don't go out too quick, but but yeah, don't go out too quick.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
definitely left a bit of time out there from going out too quick. And I think if we had kept the pace a bit slower, maybe we wouldn't have cramped so much and could have stayed strong in that second half. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's such a tough way to race it, when you go out that far ahead of course record schedule. Like
yeah,
we were all on track to be the fastest three men from Bondi and Manly ever
mm,
before. I reckon Joey held on pretty well, and you did for sure. But
yeah.
like, I definitely popped so hard. But it's
I
still
know.
a
I
good
think
learning experience. Yeah,
yeah. Even still, I think both me and Joe were thinking, oh, like if we hadn't have gone out that hard, we definitely wouldn't have cramped that much and could have run better.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, the other good thing is like I feel like every race, no matter what, is gonna be good training. Like
mm,
that was a big good training run for me that I can take on the benefits of in the future. So I'm so
mm,
glad I did it. I'm so glad I finished. Because I definitely wanted to pull the pin at a few points, but I managed to push through. So yeah, pretty happy with it. But what have you got next, Dom?
next, not too sure. It's coming into summer. I thought like originally I was going to do a track season, but I'm not that keen on it anymore. Really, I think I'd rather just really keep focusing on ultras and yeah, train solidly through the summer. There's a little race in Tasmania that I'm on the wait list for, but I don't know if I'll get into it or not because there's only like 60 runners in the field and it's really like just hard to get into. So maybe that'll come off, maybe it won't. And then after that is UTA, which is going to be like a big focus. I think I'd love to put in like a solid training block for that, do some big long runs, and yeah, put in a performance that I'm proud of. So yeah, that's the main goal.
For sure. I think like you, I had plans to do the track season. Um, but now that I've done one night of Manly, like I knew that the 3K state 3K was out of the cards because I don't think I'll recover and get fit enough in time or
Mm.
fast enough in time.
Yeah,
Definitely fit after one night of Manly. But um yeah, I don't know. I feel like the shorter stuff doesn't interest me as much as before. Like I still want to do a few 5Ks. I'll probably just do it at parkrun though and just get like a baseline fitness level. Because I'm curious to see what shape I'm in after all this ultra training.
mm.
But I don't plan on doing any competitive 5Ks or anything like that. I think I have no races coming up now as well, so I'd rather just do pretty general training, hop into whatever everyone else is doing. So I'd be down to do a few more like longer trails with you as well. Like if we ever go mega long away again, I'm totally
Yeah,
down.
definitely.
Um, Probably want to invest in like a pack that's a bit thinner, lighter, and maybe a tiny bit less capacity than the advanced skin 12 set, so I can do like
Oh
some
yeah.
faster stuff in the trail as well.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a lot of inspiration I took from the last 5 months of doing ultras, and I think I want to carry on doing a few longer stuff for now because I'm enjoying it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but I think that was a pretty good recap of one night of Manly.
yeah,
Again,
definitely.
I'm proud of Dom because even before this podcast, I obviously knew that you had a couple races that you weren't like you did all right, but you weren't satisfied, and you knew you had more in the tank so you wanted to
Mm.
have a good race here. You were talking about it, but you ended up pulling it off. So again, huge congrats to you, big race. And this is only the start, right? You got more to come, I reckon.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking forward to running some more great races. But yeah, hats off to you as well. I think you gave it a very good crack, and yeah, I think it's only onwards and upwards from here.
for sure. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you to the listeners. You can follow Dom at With the Chiefs Running Podcast if you want to hear another podcast. But Um, yeah, he's also on Instagram and Strava and all that. Um, yeah, he's pretty humble. He hasn't talked about it, but he actually has a couple age group records, I think, for the 6 hour and 12 hour run, or is it the 24?
6 hour and 12 hour. Yeah.
Yeah, on the track. So that's pretty epic. So yeah, follow Dom's journey. He's gonna become an even more crazy ultra trail runner in the future. So yeah, you should follow him. But yeah, thank you to everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys. See ya.